The Indus Valley Civilization supports the Aryan invasion theory. The Indus Valley or Harappan Civilization does not support an Indo-Aryan civilization in India before 1200 BC. The writing, culture, and religion of the Harappans illustrates that Dravidian people built the Indus Valley Civilization, not Indo-Aryan speaking people. The Hindutva, or Hindu nationalists, lie. They lie about the ancient civilizations of India to make it appear as if Indo-Aryan speakers have been in India for 75,000 years, and that the Indo-Aryans built the Indus Valley Civilization. The alleged characteristics that are supposed to imply that Aryans built the Indus Valley Civilization include sacrificial altar building and the Sarasvati River. The Sarasvati, described in the Rig Veda, has no Harappan sites associated with this river in India. Hindutva scholars also talk about altar building in the Rig Veda, and that this altar building, mentioned in the Rig Veda, may be related to Harappan altars. But Harappan sites were cities, and the Aryans were city destroyers, not builders. None of these points support an Aryan presence in the Indus Valley. Archaeological and linguistic evidence indicates that the Dravidians were the founders of the Harappan civilization and culture, which extended from the Indus Valley through northeastern Afghanistan on into Turkestan. The Harappan civilization existed 2600 to 1700 BC. The main cities of the Harappan civilization were Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, Shandhu-daro, Kalibangan, and Lothal. These cities and the towns were built on a regular plain of straight streets. The buildings were made of kilt burnt mud bricks. No Harappan cities are found along the Sarasvati River. The Harappan civilization was twice the size of the old kingdom of Egypt. In addition to trade relations with Mesopotamia and Iran, the Harappan city-states also had active trade relations with the Central Asian people. To compensate for the adverse ecological conditions, the Harappans first settled sites along the Indus River. The Dravidian Harappans occupied over 1,000 sites in the riverine Indus Valley environments where they had soil and water reserves. The Harappan sites are spread from the Indus Valley to Iconography in northeastern Afghanistan and southward into India. In Baluchistan and Afghanistan, Dravidian languages are still spoken today. Other Harappan sites have been found scattered in the regions adjacent to the Arabian Sea, the Darajat, Kashmir, and the Doab. The mature Harappan civilization is divided into two variants, the Sorath Harappan and the Sindhi Harappan. The Sindhi Harappan sites are sites characterized by elaborate architecture, fired brick construction, sewage systems, and stamped seals. The Sindhi Harappan styles have been found in Gujarat, Kutch, the Punjab, Haryana, and Uttar Pradesh. The major Sindhi cities include Mohenjo-daro, Lothal, Rangpur, Harappa, Rangpur, Desaupur, Shrikot, Chada, Manda, Ropar, Kalibangan, and Shandhu-daro. The Sindhi Harappans possess writing, massive brick platforms, well digging, a system of weights and measures, black and red ware, metalwork, and beads. The Harappans were masters of hydraulic engineering. None of these characteristics are associated with the so-called Indus Valley sites. In fact, These sites show that they had to have been done by people other than the Harappan Aryans, as the Hindutva would have us assume. There were no Harappans that were of Aryan origin. No Harappans at all. Archaeologists agree that black and red ware unearthed on many South Indian sites is analogous to Indus Valley black and red ware used by Dravidian-speaking people in South India. The black and red ware style has been found on the lower levels of Madurai and Tirukampullur. B.B. Lau showed that the South Indian black and red ware was related to Nubian ware, dating to the Kerma dynasty. This is supported by the appearance of Harappan signs on Indian pottery. B.B. Lau also found that 89% of the graffiti marks on the megalithic red and black ware had an affinity to the Indus Valley signs and could be read from right to left. This view was later confirmed by the linguist Mahadevan in 1986. Dr. B.B. Lau, one of the greatest Indian archaeologists, has been the main supporter and scholar to note the strong relationship between the red and black ware of South India and the red and black ware of the Indus Valley. The Surat Harappan sites lack stamp seals, ornaments, and elaborate architecture. Surat is the ancient name for Saurashtra. The Surat Harappan sites are located in Saurashtra, Kuli, and the Harappan style of Balochistan and Gujarat. The Dravidian Harappans occupied over 1,000 sites in the riverine Indus Valley environment, where they had soil and water reserves. The Harappan sites are spread from the Indus Valley to Afghanistan. The Harappans were organized into chiefdoms, averaging between 2 and 5 acres. The Harappans were sedentary pastoralists, organized into various corporations, such as sailor fishermen, smiths, merchants, and farmers. The Harappans also possessed the social technology of writing. Seals have been found in almost every room at Mohenjo-daro. Many of the Indus Valley seals were found in a worn condition and show signs of repair. Archaeologists have found holes on the back of the seals that indicate the Harappans wore them tied around the neck and ankles by a string. The Dravidians had their own tradition of writing, which they had first used in the Indus Valley, and later they took it to South India. It would appear that they introduced writing to the Indus Valley. They continued to use this writing on their pottery in South India, and later punch-mark coins. This is supported by the discovery of writing in South India dating back to before 600 BC. Writing was never lost among the Dravidian speakers in South India. The Indo-Aryans, when they entered India, they had no writing. The earliest writing appeared on South Indian megalithic ceramics. These signs were the same as those on the Indus Valley seals. Here we see an Indus pot from Ravi, and we see similar signs on pottery from Anshanalur in Tamil Nadu. Clearly there was a relationship between these writing systems. Indus Valley type signs continue to be produced throughout India by the Dravidian speaking people, especially in South India, where we find megalithic pottery, burial urns, palm leaf manuscripts that contain signs that are identical to those that were used in the Indus Valley. The evidence, when we consider the ceramic script, show an unbroken history of writing among the Dravidian-speaking people, from the Harappan to contemporary times. The Harappan sites are small and occupy only a few acres, with little depth. This suggests that the Dravidian-speaking colonists settled in this valley over a period of a few decades. Fair service has shown that the site of Mohenjo-daro was occupied for around 200 years. The Sumerians called the Indus Valley Delmun or Telmun, according to Cyrilologist S.N. Kramer in his book, The Sumerians, Their History and Culture and Character. Other specialists have begun to popularize the idea that the Indus Valley was called Meluha, because the Aryan mentioned the Meluhites in India when they arrived. There were Meluhites in India living along the Ganges, but these Meluhites were settled in India after Sesostris I of Egypt conquered the Ganges region. The Meluhites were not people of India. These were African colonists who had settled India during the time of the Egyptians. Meluhites, in a sense, also lived in the Egyptian colonies establishing cultures near the Black Sea. Today, there are isolated pockets of Dravidian-speaking groups surrounded by Indo-Aryan speakers. Dravidian languages are spoken by tribal groups in Gujarat, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Orissa, West Bengal, and Bihar. The Harappans were organized into chiefdoms. Their towns were between 2 and 5 acres in diameter. The Harappans were a sedentary pastoral people organized into various corporations: smith, sailor, fisherman. The Harappans also possessed, as I mentioned earlier, a social technology of writing. The most interesting fact, when we look at the Harappan seals, that the Harappan seals show us a clear relationship between the political organization and ideas that were held by the people in South India, the Dravidian people, and also the people in this valley. The culture in this valley people show that they were Dravidian speakers, not Indo-Aryans. Often you might hear among the Dravidian people, or Tamil, the saying, Pariya Kumbana. In other words, does he wear or grow a big horn on his head? This Tamil expression can be traced to the Harappan seals. On the Harappan seals, we see that many of the leaders occupying prominent positions on the Harappan seals had horns on their head. This suggests, in a sense, that these people were Pariyakobani. Wearing a horn is a mark of one's power and strength among the Tamil and other Dravidian-speaking people in ancient times. The headdress of some ancient Tamil chieftains included an animal horn, later replaced by a feather-like imitation. Here you can see seals from the Indus Valley. And on these seals you can see there were some leaders who had these horns. Another common iconographic representation among the various people of the Indus Valley were pictures of Lord Shiva. These seals show him with matted hair bearing a crescent or horn on his head. There's also clear evidence of a Dravidian influence on the ancient religion of the Indus Valley people. We find, in a sense, that the religion of the people of the Indus Valley is clearly of Dravidian origin. The principal Harappan gods are all depicted on the Harappan seals. The main god of the Harappans was a unicorn. The unicorn probably represented Mao. This god was held in high esteem among the cowherds and shepherds. The crescent-shaped horns of the oxen or castrated bull on some Harappan seals may represent the mother goddess, Kali, The lunar crescent shape of the oxen's curved horns recalled the lunar crescent, which was the primordial sign for the mother goddess. Siva was proudly represented by the short-horned bull. The elephant on the Harappan seals may have represented Ganesha, the elephant-headed god of India. In the laws of Manu it is written that Ganesha is the god of the Shudras, the aboriginal population of India. The Tamilian name for the elephant goddess is Pilayar, Pala Overam. The hunter figure on Harappan seals wearing the horn headdress and armed with the bow and arrow may have been Muruga, the son of Uma. Palayar is considered the shrewdest of animals. He is associated with the harvest time, abundance, and luck. The appearance of mythological animals on the Harappan seals may refer to Pilayar or Ganesha in one of his many transformations. In addition to the Dravidians building a strong system of cities, the Dravidians also built the first major port in India at Lothal. Lothal was situated at the head of the Gulf of Cambay in Gujarat. Here archaeologists have found large warehouses ready to hold goods for export and import. The Harappans cultivated wheat, barley, and millet. Their major crop was millet. In Mohenjo-daro, the streets were paved with bricks. The windows of the houses faced interior courtyards, not the street. The site of Mohenjo-daro was occupied for 200 years. There are also Proto-Dravidian Harappan colonies in Central Asia, established in eastern Bactria. The Harappans had trade relations with the Namazga 5 site. Mason has proposed that the Altan Depi people spoke a Proto-Dravidian language. The Proto-Dravidians of the Harappan Civilization controlled the trade of Central Asia. The major Harappan colony in this area was Shortagai, situated at the confluence of the Amu Darya and the Koksha River. Shortagai flourished between 2500 and 1800 BC. Due to changes in the environment of the Indus Valley, much of the area became more arid. This led to many Harappans migrating out of the Indus Valley into India to settle sites in Gujarat, Punjab, Haryana, and other parts of western Upper Pradesh between 1700 and 1000 BC. It was in Gujarat that the Dravidians probably first came in contact with the Aryans. Here we find examples of the plain gray ware used by the Indo-European speaking people of India. At the 1700 BC, with the end of the Harappan culture, black and red ware spread southward into the Cholithic cultures of Malwa and central India, down to northern Deccan and eastward into the Gangetic Basin. The use of the black and red ware of Gujarat between 1700 and 100 BC were in other parts of India. At the 1700 BC, with the end of the Harappan culture, black and red ware spread all the way to other parts of India. The use of the black and red ware of Gujarat between 1000 BC were in communities with the Dravidians of the Malwa culture. The black and red people of the Malwa culture occupied the Tapi Valley, Pravara, Godavari, and the Brahma Valley. As a general rule, the black and red ware horizon precedes the plain gray ware of the Indo-Europeans. The plain gray ware appears associated with the Indo-European speakers settling in India. Here on the Gangetic Plain, we see the emergence of plain gray ware. The presence of plain gray ware points to the probable first contact between the Proto-Dravidians and Indo-Aryans. The appearance of plain gray ware documents the beginning of the Indo-Aryan invasion. In conclusion, the Vedas make it clear that the Indo-Aryan people came to India to attack the cities of the Dasas to steal their wealth. The Vedas show that they were chariot-riding nomads who liked writing and civilization. The people in Indus Valley had writing, culture, and were sedentary people who lived in the cities. The Indo-Aryans were nomads, bloodthirsty warriors interested only in destroying the culture and civilization of the dark people of India. The writing, culture, and religion of the Harappans illustrates that Dravidian people built the Indus Valley Civilization, not Indo-Aryan people. This was proven by the artifacts we have discussed in this video, found by archaeologists in India. As a result, Indo-Aryan civilization does not go back to the Indus Valley times. In fact, the Indo-Aryans had nothing at all to do with the Harappan civilization.